how are you all? I'm back again with a bit of a stash busting going on. The Facebook page Scraptember is actually having a January stash bash at the moment, and each week there's a different prompt of items for you to bust. Actually, I think it's every day. So there's a new item every day, and they're trying to use up things that you've probably got in your stash that you've had for a long time and haven't yet used. So I'm sort of doubling it up with a sketch from the Hip Kit Club. Here it is. So I've gone for this sort of layout. But I'm also trying to bash some other stash at the same time. Washi tape, I've got quite a large collection of it. And 6x6 paper pads. And this one is actually Kate & Co. My Mind's Eye. And I've gone through the papers I'd like to use, and I've cut my pieces ready. Actually, I've got some photos of myself and my husband, so I've prepared myself quite a lot, but I'm going to try and get rid of these. These are Studio Calico rub-ons, and I also had this lovely rub-on alphabet. So I'm going to try to do my title using some of that. I've also had these. I've had these for years. These are Fancy Pants. Has it got a date? 2010. So I think, well, into the next decade now, I'm sure it's about time I use them up. And this one here, which is actually American Crafts Mini Marks. And I've used some of them, but I'm going to try and get rid of a few more. So, as I say, I've done a little bit of preparation ready. I've printed my photos quite small. And according to the sketch, this should be 5, but I'm going for 4. Because I think otherwise my photos are a bit too big otherwise to try to get 5 across here. So I've used similar sort of colours. I've used teals and pinks, and I'm just going to sort of position them ready. And my title's going to be, because we're wearing sunglasses and quite a few of them because we're on holidays, not because Wales is naturally that bright. The future's bright, I'm going to call it, because this is the year, hopefully, our house will be built. So I'm thinking for some of these lines going up on the sketch, I'm going to use some of these rub-ons. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to mount these and I'll be back. Right, so I'm back. I have mounted my photos, and as you can see, I've sort of laid them out roughly where I want them to be. And the sketch is showing, this little is lucky I mounted them off screen because I messed that one up completely. The sketch is showing like a little bit of detailing under some of the photos, and I'm thinking of using one of these rub-ons. I'm aiming for all my embellishing to come from rub-ons tonight. So I was going to use just some of this here. To be honest, I'll be amazed if these still work perfectly because, as I say, I have had them quite a long time. I went through a stage and rub-ons were really popular, and I used to use them quite a lot on my cards, but since I sort of do much more stamping now, I don't use them that much. Oh, fair play to them. They worked beautifully actually. So that one's going to be there. What I'm going to start to do, I'm just going to start sticking down because otherwise I'll forget where they're going. I'm just going to put that one here. My title might have to be in a slightly different place than the sketch is showing. That's the good thing about a sketch, you haven't got to stick to it religiously. You can take from it what you want. Now this one, I'm going to put the rest of this on this side then. Except I did upside down. So actually I would have probably just stuck all that to my finger. is it? Just trying to get it fairly straight. And I'm actually using my bone folder to burnish these rub-ons. I've had these, oh my word, I can't remember when. I've had these for years and years. And they're like the magic porridge pot. You think, oh, I've used some, and then you realise how many more there are left to use. There we go. And if they didn't all come off in one piece, then I would just pretend they were vintage and they meant to look like it, a bit of shabby chic. So there we are. I'm going to stick that one there. And I'm actually going to move this photo over. Let me just check if that's straight. This one isn't particularly straight. Just lift it slightly around. And there we go. Now, as I say, I have come off the sketch slightly, but I'm going to try and use some of these rub-ons now, if I can just get them out, as the lines going up from the photo. Right, I'm just checking that they're fairly straight. There's one, and then the same on this side. Oh, let me just move it over slightly. So happy new year to you all, or blwyddyn newydd dda, as we say in Welsh. Now then, I'm going to try to use the two of these then to make up one long string. I'm so glad they suggested using rub-ons, because otherwise these would still be languishing in a drawer in my craft room. It took me a bit of time to remember where I had hoarded these, actually. There we go. Now this one is going to be difficult. I might just put it up here actually. I know that if it was actually hanging like that, it would be a little bit lopsided. Let's see if I've got another. In fact, I might leave it, because I haven't got any more flowers. Unless I put these, go into the next photo. Yeah, I'll do that. Why not? Live life on the edge, isn't it? There we go. Right then, so now I'm going to start using some of these embellishments here. So I've got some of these little flowers and little bits and pieces, and I really want to use this one from Fancy Pants, saying live, laugh, love. Now I have made a little bit of a dent in this pack, but not enough of a dent. How are they coming out? Yeah, that's okay. I think I'll put this flower here. It's so nice to use things up, I think. I'm really enjoying using up all the chocolate that's in the cupboard at the moment. Now that one didn't come off properly, mainly because I don't think I applied it properly, but how pretty forgiving. You can then just reposition it and do it again. I'm going to have this one here. And this one is actually going to cross the photo corner. I'm being a bit of a daredevil. There we go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a few more just off screen a second, and then I'll be back in a second. Here I am, I'm back. As you can see, I've done a little bit of work here. I've added quite a few rub-ons. I added those on screen, but then I found these lines as well and these dots, and then I found on the one thing it had like a journaling spot, so I've used that. For the torn edge at the bottom of the sketch, I've used some washi tape and I've just ripped part of it off. I'm also on a mission to bash some of my alphas this year, so I've mixed and matched. I'm not too keen on the rub-on for bright because each one of the letters in this pack are slightly different, but it serves a purpose and it goes in with all the colours. And also I've mixed and matched these, so I should be okay with it. So I'm just going to add now a few more little embellishments that I actually cut. This was a cut apart sheet in the 6x6 pad, and I'm just going to add these little pieces on, and then that is going to be done. I might actually cut this one down because I just want the camera showing slightly. I'm just going to tuck this under here. So are you on a mission this year to use some stuff up? I started this mission last year and I did actually use quite a lot of things that I've been, hoarding. I'm going to come out and say it. I know that when I speak to you, I'm amongst friends. I'm sure a lot of us have got the same kinds of issues that we're trying to come to terms with. So I feel that I can speak openly with you. But yeah, it was good last year. I bought far less stuff than usual, even though my husband probably wouldn't agree. But I used a lot of stuff up as well. So I think I'm going to call that done. This is going to be, in my Project Life album, I've got a layout at the front, which is actually going to appear for the Scraptember January stash bash further on. I think that goes live about the 22nd of January, so I've already done the front page, but this will be the second page. Because I always like to put two 12 by 12 layouts to begin with, and then all the rest then is Project Lifestyle. So if you are looking for a little bit of inspiration, pop over to the Facebook group Scraptember, and as I say, the emphasis now is on stash busting for January. Also, that's the Hip Kit Club sketch for this week, I think. And there's lots going on for the Love of Pretty Paper. They've also got lots of challenges going on for you to start using your stash rather than just collecting it, because we are collectors. Not only do we collect and preserve memories, we also collect an awful lot of stash, because that's the sort of people we are. So Happy New Year to you all. I shall see you very soon, and thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Hwyl fawr.